Hi everyone, Kyriacos Eliades. I am getting so many people asking me for advice on a certain situation, which I don't have the correct answers for the people. So today I am actually asking you to be able to help me have the correct answers to give the people out there, because at the end of the day, um, you know, we don't want to see people struggling. We don't want to see people, losing their jobs. We don't want to see people not able to pay their house payments. We don't want to see people not being able to pay their school payments. And so the thing is that, and I'm sure it's happening in all the cities. So I'll take our city, for instance, which is Bloemfontein. And all of a sudden, people are just getting letters from the municipality saying, stop doing business from your house. Your house has been, you're doing business from there. Within 30 days, you need to stop. Or you're going to get 11,000 Rand fine. And after that, you're going to get a fine of 2,700 Rand, if I'm not mistaken, per month. And people are in a flat panic. People are in a flat spin at the moment. I don't have the correct answers. Not everybody can go and get legal advice. People are just barely making it. I mean, times are very tough in our country at the moment, and people are really trying to survive. Now, the questions are as follows: is people say to me, we were paying 800 Rand rates and taxes, and eventually we got letters that our rates and taxes went up to 4,000 Rand because we're doing business from our things, and we paid it. Because we were doing business, so we paid it, and at the end of the day, municipalities were getting much more revenue. Even on water, people that would have prepaid water, it was, you would have to pay like 800 Rand or the first, and then after that, you start getting waters per liters that you're actually paying for. So there were certain tariffs that were put in place. And people were paying it, and they were, with a struggle, the people were paying it. I mean, it's not like it was easy, but people understood, all right, what, we are doing this, so let's pay. Now, all of a sudden, they get told, stop doing business from you. What is going to happen to all these people? The question is, at the end of the day, is that I originally started this because I wanted to bring unemployment down. When I see something like this, it means it just pushes our unemployment rates through the roof. Not only that, we hear every single day on the news our municipalities are in financial difficulties. Every single day we hear that they're in financial difficulties. So now, was a way that they were getting so much more revenue, where people were paying 600 or 400 or 800, and they were paying 3 times more because they were using it for business. Now all of a sudden, the people are getting letters and stop operating from businesses. My question is, how are people going to pay these bonds? How are people going to pay their expenses? What are we trying to do? Are we trying to throw people in the street? Are we trying to create a bigger panic? Our municipalities need money. People need to survive. Our unemployment is rising. As long as unemployment's rising, our crime rate is rising. So, I'm pleading out there to people that can give some sort of clarity. Firstly, people can't afford the rentals in certain commercial properties because their business models don't make sense. They don't. They can't. And the other thing is, there is just not enough. I understand we have commercial properties, and I understand it's got to be capped to a certain level that it doesn't get out of hand and that. But come on. There has to be a balance. What are we trying to do? Are we now going to throw people out in the street? Are we going to now push our unemployment rate through the roof? What about the municipalities that are collecting so much money, 3-4 times, towards rates and taxes, towards water, because they allowed people to do businesses? So if the municipality can also clarify this, and people can clarify where people can go for help, because I'd like us to start putting comments on this, and that people can start reading, and people can start sharing, because it started with a few people, but now it's going into the hundreds, and it's going to eventually go into the thousands. And that thousands is going to create a massive problems in our city, because properties will not be able to be looked after. Properties will not be able to get paid. People are going to not be able to use their properties for what they need, and eventually they're going to have to start allowing people to use a property for anything. Banks will have to repo properties, and then eventually we're going to have hobos and drug dealers and everything starting to move into these houses, because the criminal element will eventually start to climb. Our neighborhoods will start to get affected. Our property prices around us will start to go down because of the way properties are starting to look. Because at the end of the day, when properties start to get stripped, I mean, it's how the insurance works as well, and people need to understand that. If your property is vacant for more than 30 days, you are not covered unless there's certain little conditions. It's in your policies. You need to read that. So what are we trying to do here? So I'm pleading to the municipalities to give us clarity, and I'm pleading to people that can help us with answers for these people that are going through this, because it is going to become a crisis. It's going to become a big crisis. We are now saying to people, stop making money, stop making a living, stop putting food on the table, stop paying more money to the municipalities in rates and taxes where they need it. I mean, our municipalities are all in a crisis at the moment. So what are we going to do now? Our municipalities are going to end up getting less money, because at the end of the day, we were paying 4 times more in rates and taxes. Yes, I understand there are certain people that do have commercial properties, and I understand that people need to, but there is not enough. There is not enough. The small business guy can't afford those commercial properties. Yes, it's for the bigger guys. So at the end of the day, it's one of the things that I originally started this whole YouTubes and channels on Facebook, and that was to help bring our unemployment rate down. Now I'm holding my head and I'm saying, what is going to happen? Our unemployment rate is going to go through the roof. Our municipalities are going to earn less money. Our property prices are going to start to plummet, because at the end of the day, it's all getting out of control. So, I mean, what are we trying to do? So I'm asking people that can help with answers, with clarity, because there are so many people, and I'm sure it's going to rise into the thousands shortly, thousands. I mean, I've spoken to some people, they just said, you know what, then eventually the banks must not take the properties, or I'm just going to leave them vacant and, let anybody stay in there. What is going to happen to our neighborhoods? Our crime rates are going to climb. It's going to get out of control. Somebody needs to talk up. Somebody needs to give some sort of clarity. I don't believe that we want to throw people in the street. I don't believe that we don't want to help with our unemployment. I don't believe that we don't want to help with our crime rate. I don't believe that we don't want to help for our municipalities to try and earn more money so that they can stay afloat. So somebody needs to clarify, because no one has the right answers. Can they stop you? What happens to the small person out there? What should he do? Should he hand his property back to the banks? Should he just vacate his property? What should he do? If he's employing 3 or 4 people, should he let them all go? What should he do? There must be an organization that can help people like this. So please put on there who you are, how can you help, how people can contact you. There has to be a spokesperson. There has to be somebody that can give clarity, because sometimes people are just rude. They do not want to help. They do not. But what happens to all these people, these thousands of people? If 1,000 people get told to stop, and that 1,000 is employing 4 people, that means we have 5,000 people in one city that's going to be unemployed. Not only the unemployment, the property prices in that area is going to go down. The rates and taxes aren't going to get collected. The crime rates are going to go down in that area. I understand it has to be within reason what you're using your property and for what type of business and whatever. But come on. Is this what we are going to do now? Throw people in the streets? throw people that are trying to make a living and not help people. Come on, man. This is not what we're trying to do. This is not what we want to do as a nation. We are barely holding it together. Our crime rate is rising. If your unemployment rate climbs, your crime rate climbs. It's common sense. You need revenue, not close revenue. When you are stopping people, then the municipalities can't collect. Garden services can't collect. Maintenance people can't. It has such a snowball effect. So many people will get affected. Thousands of people will get affected if we do not now start talking about this. And people might not agree with me all, and that is fine. But let me tell you something. Maybe you don't agree with me because you don't care about the unemployment. You do not care about other people, and that's fine. Or maybe you only care about yourself and you care about your own pocket, and that's fine. That's your opinion. That's not the opinion of the thousands of people that are trying to put food on their table. It's not about those people that are trying to put their kids through school. It's not about those people that are really trying to employ people. It's not about those people that want to make a difference in this country. So you know what? At the end of the day, you have your opinion, and that's fine. But there are thousands of people that will be affected. The only time you will talk up is when you've been affected by crime. The only time you're going to talk up is when you are affected by crime. So stop trying to put people out of business. Stop trying to put people in the street. Stop trying to put people that want to put food on their table and feed their families. We, as a nation, need to help push our job creation up. We need to employ people. And the more we can employ, the more revenues can be made, because garden services, builders, service delivery people, so many people, municipalities will be able to charge more on rates and taxes and waters and all this kind of stuff, and more revenues are going to. But when people have no source of revenue, if the stomach is empty, let me tell you something, if you have no food, then what are you meant to do to feed your family? So I'm asking you, if you have comments, if you have a way to help all these people, let's start sharing, let's start putting comments. But please, we need to start helping people, because it is going to become a massive crisis in our country. And it starts, at the end of the day, with one person talking and everybody joining, and we become a voice. So at the end of the day, I'm asking, even for the municipalities, to come back to us and help. But let's not all have a negative attitude, because a negative attitude is going to create a negative result. Thank you very much, everybody. And I'll ask of you, please, if you can help, if you can give answers to all these people, because now it is climbing to the hundreds, and it's going to go to the thousands and 1,000 people that are affected. If they're employing 4 people, that is already going to over 5,000, and that 5,000 times 10 cities is going to 50,000 times 100. We are starting to go to 500,000. We are talking about a major crisis if we don't get to the bottom of this. I plead to you, I ask you, if you know how to help these people, please, if there are organizations that can help these people, please comment there, please put some information. I do not have the answers for everybody, and that is why I always go out and I ask for help. And today I'm asking for help so that we can help everybody around us. Thank you very much, everybody. Kyriacos Eliades. And I always appreciate when a person wants to make a difference in other people's lives, because that's what it takes. It's not always about you, it's also about helping others. Thanks, everybody. Kyriacos Eliades.